Hello everyone, welcome back. This is the fourth video and I hope you had the chance to watch all the three before. In case you didn't, you can just look at my wall or you can look at the YouTube channel and you can look at them up. And I hope they gave you some value to start off with. And just a quick recap on the last two videos. I was talking about the importance of making goals and to look forward those goals, because they will give us directions and guidance in regards of what is the right decision to take or make in our lives in order to achieve what we want. Because if we don't know the final destination where we want to end up, we don't know whether we're going to the right direction. But if we know the destination, then obviously we can steer ourselves towards that dream and towards that goal. So that was pretty much the moral of the story, but I know it's not as easy as as it sounds. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about it now. And we also talk. I also told you about Newton's law, which basically states that an object in motion stays in motion unless a higher power changes the direction of its flow. So I gave you the example of a piece of wood, flowing on the top of a river, and basically the river goes in one direction. So to be able to change the direction of this wood, it requires a significant amount of power and energy, and that wood basically represents us and our daily habits. Because if we have bad daily habits, we tend to flow into the wrong direction. So to change that, we need to create new habits, and that's why the goals are really, really important in this. And I would like to share you a great story about this. So there was an experiment that they did with one rat, and they put the rat in a cup, and it was in a completely pitch black room, and they were timing how long it takes until the rat gives up, fighting for his life. So basically, it was a cup and it was water, and they just put the rat inside a cup with the water, and the rat couldn't get out. But it was completely dark, and they counted that it only fought for 3 minutes for its life, and then it just died or drowned. But then they did the same exact experiment with the rat in a cup, but with one beam of light coming into the room, representing some sort of a hope that there is something out there. Let's say the goal, because that would be the moral of the story. And what they saw, that basically the one beam of light, shining onto the rat, actually made the rat fight for its life for 36 hours. So 36 hours is more than 700 times much longer than the 3 minutes that the other one fought for. So the moral of the story is, really, if you have something to live for, if you have a hope, you will hold up for much longer than if you don't have a hope or if you don't have a destination. This is why it's really important to make this stuff. So if you watched the last video but you didn't yet set up any of your goals or any of your dreams, the dream picture I was talking about the last video, I really encourage you to go back, watch or listen to it again, and do the things and write it down on a piece of paper and do this, because this would be step number one, and trust me, you will thank me one day for it. So what holding us back from achieving our goals? Basically, I believe it's ourselves. It's our own selves, our own beliefs, and our own belief system. So I believe that all of us, or every kid, is born with an empty book inside us, or an empty brain, like completely free, completely innocent, and nothing in there. And I just represent that with an empty book. And every time something happens to us, we create a record in that book to refer back to whenever we need to. And basically what happens is, as you go through your life, kids are all fearless, kids are all just touching everything, breaking everything, jumping off everywhere, just because they don't have fear, because they still don't have a lot in their records. So whatever you don't know what to expect, so you just do it, right? But then once you've done something and then your mother got upset or angry, you created a record in your book saying, this made mom upset. Or, I don't know, maybe even your dad hit you, and then, I felt pain once I've done this. So then, you remember this because it's in your record. So when the same scenario or a similar scenario comes up in your life, you recall that, and then you just don't do it because you got scared, or you basically got scared of the pain, or you don't want to upset someone, or any of those things. But basically, it's you who creates that limit in yourself. It happened to me as well, and I think it's obviously all of us. But I think the kids that will sort of behave more, because I think I was a sort of a good kid, like, I always listened to whatever my parents told me. But then what I realize now, that sometimes I'm more shy to ask for something because, it's not a nice thing to say that. But then I just see someone else goes there and asks, and they just got it. I'm like, oh wow, I should have done the same. But I just feel like I need to, I just feel that I'm rude or I'm not doing the right thing. That's simply because this was the belief that was in me. So I'm actively working on changing this. And as I said to you in the first video, I want you to do this transition with me, not when I'm already like at the top and then I just tell you how to do it. So, I'm not lying to you. I'm not perfect yet. I'm still doing all these things, and I'm just trying to invite you to do the same with me, because hopefully that gives you more motivation if you see someone almost at the same level and with the same knowledge and with the same kind of life. I don't have anything extraordinary. So hopefully that will help you. So what can we do, really? I would say the very first advice I could give you is to not take advice from someone who hasn't achieved what you want to achieve. Because, many people like to give advice, but they say that the free advice is the most expensive advice because that will cost you the most in the long run. So if you've done, if you set up your goals in the previous video, as I asked you, you already know what you want. So let's say you want to be a bus driver or anything. And, if you take advice from your neighbor who has never driven a bus, or maybe doesn't even have a driver's license, and he tells you, oh, it's crap, don't do this, don't do that, blah, blah, blah. How would you know that he really tells you the truth? Because he hasn't experienced any of those things. So, how can you really be sure that he gives you the best advice? They all give you the advice, what they know, or what they built up during the time. So they have their own book as well, and they read from their book, and they tell you what they experienced. But, everyone's book is different because we all experience different things. Our parents and our teachers were upset with us for different reasons. So we might have written a slightly different record. So what you want to do, or what you should do, I believe, is to talk to people that already achieved what you want. So find someone that you can make an example of, or take an example of. So, find the actual bus driver and say, oh my God, you're a bus driver. And obviously one that is sympathetic to you, or maybe that you know even personally. But even if you don't, you can always find one. And then, someone who you feel like not attracted, but, that you feel positive about. And you can just approach that person saying, oh, you're a bus driver, you do this. I would really like to know how you do what you do. Could you please show me? And, and most people actually are quite helpful when you go out and ask them. They say, I didn't know this for a very long time, and then I just recently learned it. If you don't ask, you don't get. So you really need to just ask. And when you ask, it's actually good. The reason they usually help, because it flatters them. If someone came to you, whatever you do now, if you are a salesperson or anything, someone came to you, oh my God, you're the best salesperson. I want you to teach me how you do the things. You would feel good about yourself. I'm pretty sure. Even though you wouldn't really think that you're the best, but someone wants to learn from you, it's a really good feeling. So I believe people will actually help you. Obviously, if you go to the most successful person in the world, he's probably approached like by a million people. So, you probably don't want to start with that person, but, you don't need to go straight away from here to here, but take a step forward. So, there is always someone in between. So go, take a smaller step, and then another step, and another step, and then you can always find a newer mentor, or a newer person that you can exemplify, basically. And I think that will be the moral of the story for now. Or this is what I wanted to share. And obviously, the next part we can talk about also changing the beliefs. And changing the beliefs would come with conditioning your mind. So basically, all these things could be overwritten if you do it the right way, but it would be quite a long sort of topic, so I will leave it for the next video. So keep tuning, keep tuning. I don't think it's even right. Anyway, stay tuned. Yeah, that's the one. So yeah, stay tuned, and I will share that with you in the next video. And hopefully you enjoyed this, and if you did like it, please share with your friends, or feel free to ask me anything you want me to talk about or answer, and if I know the answer, I do my best to give it to you. Thanks very much, and have a good evening. Bye.